Hi guys, I'm back today. I'm going to read Mark 5 to 13, Proverbs 4, and Psalm 100. They came to the other side of the sea, to the country of the Gerasenes, and when Jesus had stepped out of the boat, immediately the men around the tomb, the man with the unclean spirit, who lived among the tombs, no one could find him anymore, not even with a chain. He had often been bound with shackles and chains, but he wrenched the chains apart and broke the shackle in pieces, and no one had the strength to subdue it. Night and day among the tombs, on the mountains, he was always crying out, and his hot stones. And so Jesus saw afar, he ran and fell down before him. He cried aloud by saying, "What have you to do with me, Jesus, Son of the Most High God? I adjure you by God, do not torment me, for you are saying to him, Come out of the man, you unclean spirit." And Jesus asked him, "What is your name?" He said, "My name is Legion, for we are many." And he begged him earnestly not to send them out of the country. Now a great herd of pigs was feeding down the hillside, and they begged him, saying, "Send us to the pigs, let us enter." So he gave them permission. And unclean spirits came out and entered the pigs in the herd, numbering about 2/3, rushed down the steep bank into the sea and drowned the sea. And the herdsman's tower flattened whole in the sea. In the country, he came to see what it was that had happened. And they came to Jesus and the demon possessed him. And they wanted out the legion, saying, "They clothed his right mind," and they were afraid. And those who seen described to them what happened to the demon possessed man and to the pigs. And he began to beg Jesus to depart from their region. He was to get into it, but the men who had been possessed with demons begged that he might be with them. He did not permit him, but said to him, "Go pray to your friends, tell them how much the Lord has done for you, and how he saved my son." So he went away and began to proclaim them to capitalize how much Jesus had done for him. Everyone marveled, and Jesus crossed again the boat on the other side. Great crowd gathered about him. It was sad to see him, and we came over the walls of the synagogue, Jairus by name, and seeing him, he cried out to see him, and implored him earnestly, saying, "My little daughter is at the point of death. Come and lay your hands on her, so she may be where you will and live." And he went with him, and a great crowd followed him and thronged about it. There was a woman who had discharged a bill for 12 years, and had suffered much under the physician, and spent all that she had, and was no better, but rather grew worse. He heard the reports about Jesus, came up behind him in the crowd, and touched his garment, for she said, "If I touch you in his garment, I will be made well." And immediately the flow of blood dried out of him, and she felt in her body that she was healed of the disease. And Jesus, perceiving himself that his power had gone out from him, immediately turned about and looked around and said, "Who touched my garment?" And the disciples said to him, "You see the crowd pressing around you, yet you say, 'Who touched me?'" And he looked around to see who had done it. With the word knowing what had happened to him, came fear and trembling. And he fell down before him, and told him the whole truth. And he said to her, "Daughter, your faith has made you well. Come and peace, be healed of your disease." And I was still speaking. And they came from the ruler's house and said, "Your daughter is dead. Why trouble the teacher any further?" Overhearing what they said, Jesus said to the ruler's synagogue, "Now fear, only believe." And he allowed no one to follow him except Peter, James, and the brother James. And he came to the house of the ruler's synagogue, and Jesus saw the commotion, people weeping and wailing loudly. If he entered, he said to them, "Why are you making a commotion weeping? The child is not dead, but sleeping. Now are you making a commotion weeping?" And they laughed and him. And he heard them all aside and took the child's father and mother, said to those who were with him, and when they knew what the child was, taken her by the hand, he said to her, "Talitha cumi," which means, "Little girl, I say to you, arise." Immediately the girl got up and began walking, and they were immediately overcome with amazement. And he strictly charged them no one should know this, and told them to give us something to eat. And if the man came to his house, and Jonas' son was father, and Sabbath he began to teach in the synagogue, and he heard him astrology. But this man did these things. And now is the wisdom given to us, such mighty works done by his hands. It's not this the carpenter, the son of Mary, and brother James, and Joseph, and Judas, and all his sisters here with us, and took offense at it. And Jesus said, "Prophet is not without him, except in going to find child in his world, to whom he had aside. He could do no mighty work there, except he laid his hands on the sick people and healed them. And he marveled because of their unbelief. And he went among the villages teaching, and he called the 12 and began to send them out 2 by 2. And he gave them authority over unclean spirits. He said, he charged them to take nothing for the journey except staff, no bread, no bag, no money, no else, but to wear sandals and not put on shoes. He said, "So wherever you enter a house, stay there until you depart from there. And the place will not receive you, and will not listen to you. When you shake the dust off your feet as a testimony against it." For he went and proclaimed that people should repent. They cast them out, many Indians, and when he was sick and healed them. And King Herod heard over Jesus' name, and someone said, "John the Baptist is Jerusalem, and these miraculous powers." Let's see, here's Elijah. And others said he's a prophet, like one of the prophets. And Herod heard it, he said, "John, whom I beheaded, has been raised." And Herod had sent C.Jun back in the presence of Herod, as well as for his wife, because he married her. For John had been sent to Herod, and the Lord found you to have your brother's wife. And Herodias had grown, because they wanted to put him to death, but she could not, for Herod feared John. And knowing that he was righteous upon him, and kept him safe. He heard him, he was greatly perplexed, and he heard him die. And his opportunity came when Herod on his birthday. He gave a banquet for his neighbors and military command, leading them in Galilee. And when Herodias' daughter came in, she pleased Herod and his guest. And the king said to God, "Ask for me whatever you wish, and I'll give it to you. And he vowed to her, whatever you ask me, I'll give you up to half my kingdom." And she went out and said to her mother, "What shall I ask?" And she said, "The head of John the Baptist." And she came in immediately in haste, and asked, saying, "Now I want you to give me at once the head of John the Baptist on and replied, and the king was exceedingly sorry, but because of his earnestness, he did not want to break his word at all. And immediately the king sent an executioner with bullets springed on his head. He went and beheaded him in the presence and brought his helmet upon and gave it to the girl. And the girl gave it to her mother, and the disciples heard of it. They came and took his body and laid it on the tomb. And then the apostles returned to Jesus and told him all that they had done in Torah. And he said, "Come away by yourselves to this place and rest a while." And many were coming and going, and they had no leisure even to eat. And he went away into a boat to a desolate place by themselves. And many saw them go and recognized them. And he ran down from all the towns and got there ahead of them. And he went ashore. He saw a great crowd and had compassion on them because they were like sheep without a shepherd. And he began to teach them many things, and he grew his disciples. So he turned and said, "This is a desolate place, and the hour is now late. So no way to go into surrounding countryside and villages and buy themselves something to eat." And he answered, "You give them something to eat." And he said to him, "Show them by 200 denarii worth of bread, and give it to them to eat." And he said to him, "How many others do you have?" Go and see. And he found out. He said, 5 and 2 fish. He commanded them to sit down in groups on the green grass, and they sat down in groups, 100 by 50s, and taking the 5 loaves and 2 fish, he looked up to heaven and said a blessing, and broke the loaves and gave them to the disciples before the people, and divided the 2 fish among them all, and they all ate and were satisfied. And they took up 12 baskets of broken pieces and of fish, and those who ate the loaves of 5,000 men. And immediately he made his disciples go into the boat and go before them. And the other side to Bethsaida, well, he dismissed the crowd after taking leave of them. And he went up on the mountain to pray, and every evening came, the boat was out on the sea. He was alone and long. And he saw that they were making headway painful. But the wind was against, and about the 4th watch of the night he came to walk on the sea, meant to pass by, and he saw them walking on the sea, they thought it was a ghost, and cried out, for they all saw and were terrified. He immediately spoke to them and said, "Take heart, it is I, do not be afraid." And he got into the boat with them, and the wind ceased, and the other said, "They did not understand about the loaves, so their hearts were hardened." And he crossed over, they came to land, and Jun and moored to shore. And he got out of the boat, the people immediately recognized him, and ran about the whole region, concerning the sick people on their beds to wherever they heard he was. And wherever he came, villages and cities were countryside. And they ate the sick in the marketplace and poured them out. They meant to touch even the fringe of the garment. And the natives touched were made well. And the Pharisees go to him, and some of the scribes heard it come from Jerusalem. And so the sons of disciples who ate with hands that were not defiled, and as unwashed, unwashed. And the Pharisees and the scribes asked him, "Why did disciples not walk according to tradition of God to eat with defiled hands?" And he said to them, "Well, did Isaiah prophesy of you hypocrites, and you seek all unto those with the hearts far from me, in vain do they worship me, teaching his doctrine as the commandments of men. Yeah, they had commandment God, and they told to the tradition of men." And he said to them, "Do you have far way of rejoicing in the commandment, rejecting the commandment God to establish a tradition? And so honor your father and your mothers, and whoever will his father and mother must surely die." He said, "If a man tells his father and his mother, whatever you gain from me is called me, and you no longer command him to do anything for his father and mother, thus making void the word of God, you abide in tradition you have hindered. And these are things you do." And he called people to him again, and said to him, "Hear me, all of you, and God said, there is nothing outside of person. If I go again to him, can you fill him? Things are come out of person. Now what to fill him?" And he entered the house and left the parable. People were so asked him about the parable. He said to them, "Why are you so without understanding? You do not see that whatever goes into a person from outside cannot fill it. It enters not his heart, but his stomach, and is expelled." And then he said, "What comes over a person is what to fill sin, and from within an overwhelming man could eat without sexual immorality, theft, murder, adultery, covet, hating, wickedness, deceit, sensuality, envy, slander, pride, foolishness. And all these come from within. And they defile a person, they he raised and went away to his entirety. He entered the house and not anyone to me. He cannot be him. Immediately the woman whose daughter had none considered her, and came down and fell down his feet. And the woman was a Gentile, sorrowfully and sin by birth. And she begged him to cast the demon out of her daughter. And he said to her, "Let the child be fed first, and not right to take children bread and give it to the dogs." She answered, "Yes, Lord, even the dogs on the table eat the children's clothes." And he said to her, "This statement you may go your way. The demon has left you." And she went out and found the child lying in bed, and the demon gone. And he returned from the region entirely through sea to Galilee in the region of Decapolis. And I brought to him a man who was deaf and his speech impediment, and begged him to lay his hand on it. After taking him aside from the crowd privately, his fingers took and his speaking and touched the tongue. And looking to his son and said to our father, "Let it be over." And this recognized the tongue with this and spoke. And just cast him to son, but the more he trusted him, the more zealously they proclaimed it. He was astonished beyond measure, saying, "He's done all things well. He makes even the deaf hear and the mute speak." And in those days in a great crowd, nothing to eat. He called his disciples to him and said to them, "Have compassion on the crowd. They say, see, I have been now 3 days, and nothing to eat. They were still on their way, hungry, to their house. They found the way. And some of them had come from far away. And his disciples answered, "How can one feed this people with bread here in this desolate place?" And he asked them, "How many loaves do you have?" He said, 7. And they directed the crowd to sit down and go. And he took the soundlines, having given thanks, he broke them and gave them to his disciples to set before the people. And he set them before the crowd, and they had a small fish. He saw more fish, and having lost, and he said that these should be set before him, and he ate one necessary. He took a broken piece left over, 7 baskets full. And there were about 4,000 people sent that way. Immediately he got into the boat with his disciples and went to the dome beneath it. Whereas he can begin to argue with him, seeking from his side, from heaven to test him. He said deeply in his friends, why this generation seeks a sign? I say to you, sign will be given to this generation. And you left them, gone to the boat again, went to the other side. And they had forgotten to bring bread, because they had read one day from them in the boat. And cautioned us, they watch out, because they and we read 11 of the Pharisees and 11 of the Herod. They began discussing one another fire that they had no bread, and Jesus was with said to them, why discussing the fact that you had no bread? Do you not yet perceive or understand? Now your heart hard, having eyes do you not see, having ears do not hear. And you do not remember, when I broke the 5 loaves of the 5,000, how many baskets for a broken piece do you take up? They said to him, 12. And 7 for the 4,000, how many baskets for a broken piece do you take up? They said to him, 7. And he said to them, do not yet understand. And he came to Bethsaida, and some brought to him a blind man, and begged him to touch him. And they took a blind man by the hand, and led him out of the village. And he spit on his eyes and laid his hands on him. He asked him, do you see anything? He looked up and said, I see people, they look like trees walking. And Jesus laid his hands on his eyes again, he opened his eyes, and sight was restored. He saw everything clearly. He went to his home, saying, don't even enter the village. And then Jesus and on the Sabbath to the sea, or to the trees where I fell upon. And on the way he asked the disciples, who do people say that I am? He told them, drunk about let's say Elijah, and there was one prophet. And he asked them, who do you say that I am? Peter, as you are the Christ. And the children told no one about it. He had to teach them the Son of Man must suffer many things, and be rejected by the other chief priests. And his scribes and weaker, and after 3 days rose again. He said this plan, then Peter took him aside and began to rebuke him. And turning to see his disciples, he rebuked Peter, saying, go behind me, saying, you are sitting in on things about, on things of me. He called the crowd to him with the disciples. And he said to them, if anyone will come back to me tonight, some take his cross to follow me. Whoever has his life will go, whoever loses his life for my sake will find it. And the Gospels will save it. What does profit man to gain the whole world and fulfill his soul? What command you? And return for his soul, whoever is ashamed of me, and in one mouth in this dark which is sent direction. God him will son me, and to be ashamed and come to the glory filled with holy angels. With his holy angels. And he said to him, try to see the son standing here who not to me is dead. To the city came go. And after his cometh power. And after 6 days Jesus took with him Peter and James, and led them up a high mountain by themselves. He was transfigured before them, and his clothes became radiant and handsome, as no one on earth could place him. And there appeared to him Elijah with Moses. They were talking with Jesus, and Peter said to Jesus, Rabbi, it's good that we're here. And I was like 3 times, one for you, one for Moses, and one for Elijah. You don't know what to say for their terrified. And a cloud overshadowed them about, and a voice came out of the cloud. This is my blood, so listen, and someone looking around. And they no longer saw anyone with them but Jesus. And as I climbed down from the mountain, he charged them to show them what they would see, until sun had risen from the dead, so they kept in the mountain themselves, questioning what this writer from the dead might be. And asked them, why did Christ say the first Elijah was come? He said to them, Elijah does come first to restore things. And it was written that the Son of Man should suffer many things, and be treated with contempt. I tell you that Elijah has come, and they did to him whatever they pleased, as is written of him. And they came to the disciples, they saw a great crowd around him. And his cries argued with them, nearly all the crowd they saw him greatly. They amazed him around to him greatly. He asked them, what are you arguing about with them? Some of the crowd said, Teacher, I have brought my son to you. His spirit that makes him meet, and wherever it sees him, throw him down. He firms the ground his teeth and becomes richer. So I asked you, and could the disciples cast, and they were not able. He answered, O faithless generation, how long am I to be with you? How long am I to bear with you? Bring him here to me, and he brought the boy to him. And the spirit saw him, and he called and false to the boy. He found the ground rolled about, foaming at the mouth, and Jesus asked the father, how long has this been happening to me? He said, from childhood. Yet I've been cast him to fire and to water to destroy. If you can do anything, have compassion on us and help us. And then Jesus said to me, if you can, all things are possible for all who believe. Immediately the father of the crowd cried out and said, I believe, help my unbelief. And Jesus saw that the crowd came running to God. He breathed unclean spirits, saying, you mute and deaf spirit, command you, come out of him and never enter him again. After crying and convulsing him, terribly came out, and the boys like a corpse. So they missed and say, he is dead. And Jesus took him by the hand and lifted him up, and he arose, and he entered the house. The disciples asked him privately, why could we not cast him out? Jesus said to him, its kind cannot be driven out by anything but prayer. And he went up from there past through Galilee. He did not want anyone to know, for teaching his disciples, saying to the Son of Man is going to be delivered to hands, men, they will come. And then he was killed. After 3 days he will rise. He did not understand the saying, they were afraid to ask him. When they came to Capernaum, his house, he asked them, what are you discussing on the way? And he kept on from the way they argued with one another, who was the greatest. He sat down, called the 12, and took them. If anyone would be first, he must be last servant. He took a child and put him in the midst of them, and taking him in his arms, he said to him, whoever receives one such child in my name receives me. Whoever receives me, receives not him, but me, but him who sent me. And Jesus said to him, Teacher, we saw someone cast out demons. And he tried to stop him, because he was not following us. And Jesus said, don't stop him, for no one does mighty work in my name. I'll be able to sit him after to speak evil of me. Well, one is not against us for us, but truly I say to you, whoever gives you a cup of water to drink because you belong to Christ will by no means lose the reward. However, caused one of these little ones, they believe in me to sin. It would be better for him from grandmaster or hunger and there can nearly to be than to see. And if your hand causes you to sin, cut off. It is better for you to enter life crippled than 2 hands go to hell. It's an unquenchable fire. Your foot causes you to sin cut off. It's better for you to enter life alone than 2 feet to be thrown to hell. Your eye causes sin tear and it's better for you to enter the kingdom of God 1 eye than 2 eyes to be thrown to hell. No, their one does not die and the fire is not quenched. Everyone gets salted with fire, soul is good. If your soul is left, it's not in it. How you make a soul to you? Have soul in your souls and be peaceful with one another. And the method went to read and Judah and be able to joy. And God's God to me again. And yes, again, as you first Christ, he told them. And Christ came up and in Old Testament, his love for men to divorce wife answered. What did most command? They said, there's another man. Christ said to get divorced and send that way. And he said, get your hearts high, he read this commandment. And from the beginning of creation, God made male and female. Therefore, man shall be his father and hold fast his wife. And who shall become one flesh? They are no longer two but one flesh. But therefore, God is joined together when men separate. And it has to start with us to begin about them. This man, he said to them, whoever divorced wife and marries another commits adultery against her. If she divorces a husband and marries another, she commits adultery. Whoever bring children to him, he may touch her. And his disciples rebuked them. Jesus saw his in the man said to the children come to him, do not have no taste as well as the kingdom of God. Truly I say to you, whoever does not receive the kingdom of God, like a child shall not enter. He took from his arms and blessed them, laying his hands on them. And as it stood on his journey, a man ran up and down. A man ran out and up from the master, good teacher, what must I do to inherit eternal life? And Jesus said to him, why do you call me good? No one is good except God. You know the commandment was don't murder, don't commit adultery, do not steal, don't bear false witness, don't defraud. Honor your father and mother. He said to him, teacher, all these I care for me. And just looking at him, loved him, said to him, you'd like one thing, go and sell all that you have and give to poor. You will treasure in heaven and come follow me. Just humble yourself and you will yourself free much possession. And Jesus looked at her and said, just knows how difficult it will be for those who have loved and seeking God. The disciples were amazed at his words. Jesus said to him, John, how difficult it is to enter the kingdom of God. It is for a coming to go through the avenue. And Proverbs first enter the kingdom of God. He was feeling astonished and said to him, then who can be saved? Jesus looked at him. And there was with him, it is impossible with God. All things are possible with God. He began to say to him, see, you left everything for you. Jesus said to I say to you, there is no one who has left house and brothers, sister, mother, father, children, roots, and for my sake, for my gospel. You will not receive 100-fold now in this time, house and brothers and sisters and mothers, and children, and as persecutions, and in the age to come eternal life, many of us will be lost in losses. You know that I go into Jesus, and Jesus was walking ahead, and they amazed those 12 after, and taking the 12 again, he began to say tell them what happened to him, saying, see, we are all going up to Jerusalem, and the Son of Man will be delivered up to the chief priests. And the scribes now condemned to death and delivered him over to the Gentiles. He are mocking and spit on him and followed him God. After 3 days he will rise, and James and John the sons of Zebedee came up to him and said to him, teacher, what do we want you to do for us, whatever we ask of you? And he said to him, what do you want me to do for you? And he said to him, grant us to sit on your right hand when you left in your glory. In your glory. And Jesus said to him, do you not know what you ask? He would drink the cup that I drink. You baptize the baptism of which I am baptized. And he said to me, and Jesus said to him, the cup that I drink, you will drink with the baptism with which I am baptized. You will be found baptized. Sit in my right hand, my left with my mind to go. And so those to whom has been prepared. And 10 had they began to be indignant at Jesus. And Jesus called them to him and said, you know that there is who are considered as a Gentiles Lord over. And they agreed, once exercise the authority over. It shall be so among you. Whoever will be great among you must be so. Whoever will be first among you must be slave. For some men cannot do servant to give his life as a ransom for me. Thinking to Jericho, he's leaving Jericho with the disciples and a great crowd about Timaeus, and the blind beggar son Timaeus, and seen by the bird sign. And he said unto Jesus, and as he began to cry and say, Jesus, son of David, have mercy on me. Mary rebuked him, saying, telling him these signs. And cried all the while, son of David, have mercy on me. And Jesus stopped and called the blind man, saying to him, take heart, get up, he's calling you. And throwing off his clothes, he was saying, and came to Jesus. And Jesus said to him, what do you want me to do? If you did, the blind man said to him, Rabbi, let me recover my sight. And Jesus said to him, go your way, have your faith and make you well. Immediately he recovered his sight and followed his own way. And he drew near to Jerusalem to Bethany, and the Mount of Olives. Jesus ran to his disciples and said to him, go into the village in front of you. Immediately as you enter, you will find a colt tied, which no one has ever sat untied, and bring it. If anyone says to you, why are you doing this? Take the Lord's need of it, and we'll send it back to you immediately. And he went away and found the colt tied to the line, so and untied it. And some of those standing there said to him, why are you doing untying the colt? And they told them what Jesus said. And let them go, and they brought the colt to Jesus and spread them through their cloaks away. And he sat on it, and first spread their cloaks away. And suddenly a few branches they had them cut from the fist. They stood before those who followed him. Hosanna, blessed is he who comes in the name of the Lord, and to come in the kingdom of our Father David. Hosanna in the highest. And then Jerusalem went to the temple, and he looked around, and everything was already there. He went to Bethany with the 12. While the father and came from Bethany was hungry, and seeing just the fig tree in there, he went to see if he could find anything for him. And he came to it, he found nothing but leaves, not the seeds of figs. And said, and no one ever ate fruit from you there. And stopped heard it, and they came to Jerusalem and entered the temple. And when they began to drive out those who stood and those who bought in the temple, they returned tables and money things to see to those top bidders. You did not allow anyone to carry anything from the temple. And he was teaching and saying to us, no longer my house shall be called a house of prayer. All nations, you have made it den of robbers. And den of robbers, and chief priests and scribes. And then heard it, and was seeking a way to strip their freedom, because all the crowd was astonished at his teaching. And he came, they went on to Jesus, and they passed them on. And they saw the fig tree with their wages, and Peter remembered. And said to him, Rabbi, the fig tree that you cursed is made of Jews, and have faith in God. Try to say to you, whoever says to this mountain, you taken over there into the sea, and does not doubt in his heart, but believes what he says will come to pass, it will be done for him. And if I tell you, whatever you ask in prayer, believe that you received, it will be yours. And whatever you ask in prayer, forgive. And if you have anything against anyone, say, your Father who is in heaven may forgive you your trespasses. And they came again to do so. And he was walking in the temple, the chief priests and scribes and the elders came to him and said to him, by what authority are you doing these things? Do you give you the authority to do? Jesus said to him, I'll ask one question and answer, and I'll tell you by what authority I do these things. And it's the baptism of John, for heaven from man to me, and discussed it from one. If we say from heaven, he'll say, why then did you not believe me? If we say, shall I say from man, they are afraid of people. They all had the John Miller was prophets and answered Jesus. You do not know. And Jesus said to him, neither will I tell you by what authority I tell you these things. Proverbs 4. And I asked the father's track, a good time to give me and said, I gave you priests, do opposite and teach me what the son of my father, and tender on the son of my mother. You told me to stay hard, I did hard for fast, and I was keep my commands. So there is some gains, like you don't forget, don't turn from the words of my mouth. Don't forsake, and she'll keep your love and she'll body. He always says this girl wisdom, whatever you get, all the time. Right out and shoot, so you shall only if you embrace her. You place your hand graceful ground, she'll stone you, be hear my silence at my words, so you say like me, I told you how it was now, and then you pass our brightness. And you walk a step up at him, but if you run, you will stumble. And you hold instruction to do like God, go over for shares your life. You don't enter the path of wicked, and avoid it. And don't go walk in the way you avoid it, don't away from the impassable. And you cannot say unless you don't know, rob the slave, has made someone stumble. You hate the right wickedness, drink the wine mouths. The path of right select the lion, don't shine fire and bread until the day. They the wicked like the dogs, they do not know of what they stumble. Now some being done what was the guided into my stage. And not scare for a side, keep the in your heart over their laughter, raise the fun. And you hear them talk the first, keep your heart over joy. Rob the springs of life. Oh, if very quick speech and be deeds talk far from me. And I asked directly for it, is you straight for it, on the path you free. Might as well be sure that you're so to right to the left and you're far away from evil. Psalm 100. Make a joyful noise to the Lord, the save the Lord's plans, come into his presence, saying, and the Lord his God, he is here, made us, and he has his people, and the sheep of his pasture, and into his gates of thanksgiving, his courts of praise, give thanks to him, bless the name of the Lord's good, for his steps, love, and justice, and from the soul of generations. No astonishing, I do the Lord's favour, his presence, for I never have it, never can come with done, after his time. He said, Jacob, for because their service to go and depth, he's not to taste, unless he will. He is king upon the grove of Abner, and seated by